All right, everybody, welcome to episode 18 of Just the Gi Top podcast. We are live. Tonight we've got five grappling on. So we've got Dan Henson and Ricardo Amendolia. So just to go over our regular podcast members quickly, you've got myself, Adam Cousins. We have Ahmed Chirani. We have Jordan Short, and we have Rami Chirani. So Rami, do you want to get started with the sponsor shoutouts there?
Yeah, sure. So we have two sponsors that we'd just like to thank. Very Hard to Submit. They've been sending us skis and whatnot, so they've really been helping out. Everything they have is pretty cool. You can check them out at veryhardtosubmit.com. There's also Pahada Gear, who gave us these like really, really cool shirts. It's like a BJJ skull guy. Like everywhere I go, regardless of if these people are into jiu-jitsu or not, I get a lot of compliments on the shirt. So you can check those out too on pohadagear.com, and I know how to spell that. It's PORRADAGEAR.com, and you can check them out. I think they have two designs up. They might even have a third one up. So check those two out.
All right, thanks, Rami. So just for those who don't know who you guys are, Dan and Ricardo, maybe you just take a little bit of time, just kind of introduce yourselves, how you're involved in the art, and we'll go from there. So Dan, maybe start with you.
Sorry, it's kind of breaking up on me. Did you say for me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, just kind of, I think my computer has some issues here. Yeah, well, thanks first of all for having us on the show. I mean, you guys made a lot of changes and schedules and all that to help us out, so very much appreciated. And yeah, we're actually big fans of your show. We've been watching it for the last few months, and obviously we'll make some jokes, I'm sure, later on about the guests that you've had. But yeah, so thanks so much for taking the time to do this with us. So yeah, my name's Dan Henson, and I'm currently the CEO of Five Grappling. And basically what we are is an organization that's trying to bring something special to the submission grappling BJJ world. You know, we really want to bring a platform to North America that we think should do a lot to hopefully increase the participation and bring some prestige to the sports and do something special that we think will really, in years to come, hopefully be looked at as something that's added something special to something we all love. So I'm sure we'll give details about everything we're doing and what it's all about. But for myself, I've kind of been at this now for 2 years on almost a full-time basis. Doing investigation, running around, meeting people, networking, just trying to understand and learn the industry and come up with some ideas and creative ways that we think we can accomplish the goals that we're talking about. And one of the key people that's been invaluable to me in terms of helping me to figure everything out has been Ricardo. So currently our business is myself, our partner Paul Patterson, he's actually in Calgary, Ricardo, who's here with me, and another guy who's been really close with us is Mark Kramer. He owns his own school down in Truckee, just by Reno, and he's a huge operational guy that knows tournaments inside out. And basically it's been the four of us just kind of slugging away, the four of us together for about the past 9 months at trying to figure this whole thing out.
So Dan, do you have a background in grappling or anything? Like, I guess what got you involved in this project?
For me, getting into this was I used to have an action sports media company and have more of an investment banking background, and I was an MMA nut, kind of been that guy since, you know, I'm sure we all have the story of what is the first UFC you watched that kind of turned you on to the whole world. And for me, I was in university at the time, saw it, fell in love with it, but, you know, had a lot of other business interests I was doing. But when I got into the action sports media company, for a while we distributed the WEC DVDs. So I got to know the ownership of that group really well, almost got involved from an equity standpoint with those guys. That didn't happen, and then soon after they ended up selling to the UFC, which was fantastic for them. And when I got out of our action sports media company about 2 years ago, I was kind of presented with the idea of doing something in the grappling community. I was just looking to do something that I could be passionate and love and kind of be excited to do every day on a daily basis. And that's kind of how I was introduced to the world of jiu-jitsu. And personally, I used to train a lot of Muay Thai, but I never fought, just smokers and stuff like that. So spent a lot of time running around trying to learn about it, and a lot of stories about being at every typical kind of event and flying across North America, trying to see them all. And finally made a decision to go for it about a year and a half ago, to really come into the space and do something that, again, I thought there was a market for it, there was an opportunity for it. People I was meeting in the community I loved, and I thought it was just going to be a great way to spend all my time. And that's kind of how I discovered the world of jiu-jitsu. It wasn't before that time that I really started training and really getting into it.
Awesome, thanks. So Ricardo, maybe just talk a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I'm a black belt. I actually I'm training and teaching at Pura Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I received my black belt from the Mendez brothers. I've been training since like '97. I actually started helping to organize tournaments in around 2000. I used to help organize the Jaws and Canadian Opens, and I started doing that up until like 2003. And then I started getting involved in some other tournaments. I actually used to run my own event. This is way before your guys' time, but starting in 2004, I used to run an invitational event called the Ontario Submission Wrestling Invitational, and it was like a kind of like a mini Metamoris, if you will. Like it was it was a card of matches, and we had it in high school gym, but it was pretty cool. Actually, George St. Pierre fought on the third event, and he won the Grand Prix that we had. And we had some really good super fights and stuff like that. So this is actually after GSP fought in the UFC when he lost the title fight against Matt Hughes, his first fight. So it was really cool, and all I had to do was pay his gas money, but it's quite the difference from today's GSP's appearance fees. Quite the difference. But anyway, since then, I kind of discovered my passion for promoting jiu-jitsu and grappling, and I just really, I don't know, something clicked with me, and I was doing those invitationals, and I started to work with some other organizations that were supporting my events and stuff. And then kind of moving on, in around 2009, I started to help out Fabio Hollanda with the Abu Dhabi World Pro in Montreal. I started promoting and helping him with that. I ran the 2010, I did the ADCC Canadian Trials as well as the World Pro event and the MMA Expo with Fabio. And then, yeah, basically I've just been running and promoting and organizing tournaments. I did my own World Pro, partnered with a buddy of mine in Jersey. I've ran the ADCC trials in San Diego twice and in New Jersey. And then about a year and a half ago, I was invited to go to meet up with Dan and his partners.
This is a good story, by the way.
Yeah, I went there for another reason. Not another reason. The reason I went there was I was told to do something else, but while I was there, I was kind of they were showing me what they were going to do with the other organization they were named at the time. It was called S7, and I went to one of their setup tournaments, and I thought it was like world class. It looked amazing, and but I had my kind of reservations about the rules that they were using. It was a lot more aggressive. But the funny thing was that weekend was actually the weekend I got my black belt. So the one day I was supposed to show up for work, they're like, "Oh, where's Ricardo?" And then the person who brought me out there, he's like, "Yeah, he got his black belt from the Mendez brothers today." And Dan and his partners had no idea. So it was kind of a weird, awkward moment. But yeah, it's a bit of a funny story. But anyways, since then, me and Dan have been in contact. I've kind of helped some other promotions locally as well. And, like I'd say 9-10 months ago, we started corresponding. And he kind of asked me, like, what would you do, or, what could you do as far as our organization? And I gave him a bunch of ideas, and been working together since. And it's been awesome. I've been pretty much living my dream job, promoting and networking and doing all the things in jiu-jitsu. And that's pretty much where I'm at right now. So I'm the marketing manager for 5 Gi no Gi Grappling right now. and that's pretty much it.
So Ricardo, are you also full time? I mean, Diane mentioned earlier it's pretty much full time right now for him. Is it also for you?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm working for 5 full time. I teach Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, off and on at Pura. And occasionally I do some stuff at the Fight Network as well. We have the Best of ADCC TV show, and I do some honor analyzing once in a while. But 5 is pretty much my full-time gig.
Oh, you are living the dream, traveling and going over to Los Angeles and when I mean I saw a bunch of pictures. You were hanging out with Clark, just chilling,
It's rough.
Yeah, yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible. Like, can you guys go more into that? Like, so I mean, we got the introductions out of the way, how you guys met. It was a pretty cool story. So just now, look, can we touch more into?
No idea he was black belt.
I'm sorry.
Tell you that part.
What's that?
No, that black belt story he told. Like, I thought he was an IT guy that showed up to help, like, set up computers. That was Ricardo, and then there was like some work that still needed to be finished, and so he wasn't there. And then we started, and I'm like, "Where's Ricardo?" He's like, "Oh, he's coming back," and he shows up, and he's like, "Yeah, I just got my black belt." I was like, "What are you talking about?" Like,
was he still wearing his black belt when he walked in?
He was kind of cool about it, but I was like, "Where did you go to get your black belt? Like, what do you mean when you got your black belt?" And yeah, he got it from the Mendez brothers, so it's pretty awesome. And he was their first black belt, but
oh, no way.
yeah, I was just like, what are you talking about that you just got your black belt? So yeah.
Hey, Ricardo, well, just speaking of, like, I didn't have this question lined up or anything, but just Diane mentioned that you were the first black belt under them. Anything special you had to go through that? Like, obviously we're not black belts, but like, did they put you through a gauntlet? Like, did they just, what did they do?
No,
curious.
like, I kind of have a I was actually training and I was in the Alliance Jiu-Jitsu team till about 2010. I got my brown belt in 2006. So in 2010, I kind of left that team. I was training at Joslin's mixed martial arts, great academy, but just had some differences. And my friend PJ O'Sullivan opened up Pura, and I think around 2009. So I decided to go there and train there. And we hooked up with the Mendez brothers at our school, and basically I had been training as a brown belt since 2006, and they had seen what my accomplishments, and I rolled with them and trained with them, visited them. They've been to our school so many times, so it was kind of more like an award. They awarded me with it, so I didn't really have to go through a gauntlet because I didn't receive all my belts through them. I actually got all my belts through Alliance, so it was like, they were like, yeah, you're well due for your black belt. So, I mean, which to me, I still don't think I am, but it was more of like an awarding. So it was kind of cool. But to be honest, like, even at our school and at the Mendez school, we don't really do the, the whipping, at the back and stuff like that. I think we kind of like to award the belt, and, it's make it a little bit more of a fun. Everyone's got their own thing. Like, I used to do. See, the thing is, I at my old school, we used to whip bad, and I used to, like, I was the master. I used to tie my knots at the end of my belt. And I'd beat the shit out of some people, and everyone would look at me after. They're like, "Yeah, you just wait. So it was kind of funny. So I got, but I think when you grow, like, I'm 34 years old, and you get kind of, everyone has their own, ways of doing things, and we kind of grew out of that. And the Mendez, they didn't really do that. So our school up here, we don't really do that either.
If I can just mention just a quick story, my brother and I, we were in Los Angeles not so long ago, and we stopped by, in Torrance, sorry, we stopped in Torrance, and we stopped at the Gracie
Academy in Torrance.
Nice. Yeah, and they do that whole Jiu-Jitsu University thing, right? Yeah. So anyway, we just happened to be there when some woman did her correspondence for her blue belt. I mean, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, I don't know. But anyway, so she was there to pick up her blue belt, and they put her through the gauntlet, and she's like, "What? Like, what's going on?" And she was like this, nice woman, like mid-30s maybe, just kind of shy, and people just went to town on her. Like, they really whipped her. She was pretty upset.
And they've probably never even met her before.
yeah, and so anyway, Just thought I'd share that belt with
Yeah,
you.
you know, everyone, like I said, like everyone has their own tradition. Like I know some of the old school, like the hardcore, you know, old school guys. That's what they do. You know, like when I got my blue belt, I got it in Atlanta at Jack Ray's school. And I think I got it in like it was like '99 or 2000. I got my blue belt, and the guys that were there were monsters. We had this guy Bull Shaw, and like you know, Jack Ray had to tell people to like not kick at some point when we were going through the gauntlet because they were beating the shit out of us, especially because they're Canadian, right? They were like, man, you guys are Canadian, coming here to get blue belts, so they whooped their ass, you know. But it was everyone's got their own thing, and you know, it's not. I don't think anyone should say like what's to do or what not, but as long as you're not hurting anyone severely.
All right. So, thankfully, I've never been through.
There was a question somewhere, right?
Yeah, no, Ahmed, I think you're getting to something there.
No, I was. Well, sorry, I got sidetracked by the whole whipping thing. But what I was getting at originally, there, guys, was like I said, you were hanging out with Clark and I guess flying in Brazil. Did you do that camp of his that he was advertising, the Rio camp, or is that what?
I think he had to postpone it because he was doing some other tournaments. But he's actually opening up his own school in near San Diego, I think next month. So I think he had to postpone the camp until the opening of the school, and then he's going to do the camp. But the setup he's got for the camp is awesome. So I highly recommend anyone go to that.
So what I was going to get to with you two, Dan, I've been saying your name wrong all this whole time. It's Dayan?
Yeah, we've been messaging Ahmed and telling he's been
they're
doing
like,
it
you're
wrong.
saying it wrong. I'm like, no, not.
No, it's just.
So Dayan. Just really quick, when you guys like lately, you guys have been sponsoring the who's who of jiu-jitsu right now. You know, like you got. Oh, man, just like Ricardo, you're doing that whole thing about whose shorts are these, and it's always like some monsters like Keenan and Clark and everything. So I do read those. But yeah, like explain that. Like, how are you guys getting those guys? Like,
I have a theory that they're just paying attention to whoever we're
and
having on
almost
the
like more-
podcast, and then just immediately sponsoring them.
Could be.
Yeah, because literally it's been like every, you know, I think Lyra was sponsored as well, Dern, Clark, Gianni, yeah, like a whole bunch of people. And like, so can you guys just explain how it works? Like I don't know much about sponsorship. I'm not sponsored. If you can believe it, I'm not. But what I'm getting at is that, like, well, what's your criteria? Is there a return on investment you're looking for? Do you throw the money? Is it just free? You know, whatever. Like, if you can get into specifics like that, I think people would like to know.
Sure. Yeah, I think what our situation was is like you brought up Gianni and Liera, and we really didn't sponsor those guys so much as we brought them up here to compete in our super fights that we had in Toronto. And basically, I mean, it just kind of has to go back to what are we trying to accomplish with Five. And the overall goal of what we're trying to accomplish is to create a really well-recognized, very well-respected North American tournament series, which culminates in a big North American championship where we can hopefully do our job of bringing together the best of the best from across the country to compete in one big tournament where people can say that they are truly the best in North America in whatever particular category they're in. So one of the things that we were looking at doing in Toronto was we wanted to be able to bring some top-level guys to town and bring some attention at the brown belt, purple belt level to be able to showcase some of the top talent here in Ontario. So that's why we had, help me out here, Ricardo.
Michael Liera against Dynas, and we had Johnny.
Well, Dynas wasn't the original. Who did we have before Dynas? We had
Zuka. It was Zuka before Liera got
That's how I remember. We had Arthur lined up to fight against Liera. That was a purple belt fight, but then Liera won the Worlds at purple belt, and lo and behold, Mr. Galval gave him his brown belt before our tournament, and so we had to quickly scramble. And you know, Dynas is obviously a super qualified person to get that shot as well. So that's how come that match changed. Then we had Thomas lined up to fight Keenan, but then Keenan had an injury, so he had to pull out of that. And so we ended up doing more of a local match on that level. And then we had the Allison fight where she fought Sajara, and that was a match that Allison was really looking for because that's who she basically asked us if she could bring someone in to go against. That was what her request was. So really we were just trying to create, and then Darson, of course, with Gianni. We were trying to bring those guys in to really showcase the Ontario guys and give them a chance in front of the hometown to be able to show their talents off. So that was how we were associated with those guys. All the other ones talking about in terms of sponsorships, we really tried to target with our sponsorships anyone that we've done in any big tournament. Like we worked with Raphael in Metamoris. Then we also worked with him again over at the ADCC tournaments. His whole team, in fact, was we're really trying to showcase and bring attention to top North American competitors, because our whole thing is we want to try to do whatever we can to bring attention and bring up the profile of North American competitors. So that's how come we were really behind Lovato's team with getting them. And we also, I knew Lovato from visiting him in Oklahoma, supported our tournament that I had with S7 down in Oklahoma and in Dallas. And if you go visit his gym and just see how he handles his business, it's awesome. Like he's really someone I think people can look up to in terms of how he runs his business and how he handles himself. So the cool part of his story was, I think you guys all probably know the story, but he had 4 guys from his team qualify for ADCC. So it was him and Dop and Popolo and Raider. And Popolo actually qualified, I think, in one of, was it Popolo or Dop that qualified in one of your ADCC qualifiers, Rick?
Dop.
Dop did?
He was a blue belt at the time. He won the ADCC trials.
Yeah, as a blue belt, and then he went over there as a purple, and we all saw what he did over there. I guess he got 4th place, and then Raider got 3rd, and Lovato got 2nd.
Some really good guys, too.
Yeah.
Like he beat Vinny Magalet. I can't remember how to say his last name.
Magalet.
Yeah, and there was another high-level dude he beat as well. I can't remember his name. But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
It was pretty incredible, though. Like, I don't think a lot of people gave him a shot, and I think a lot of people were really shocked to learn that he was only a purple belt.
Yeah. I remember Shanji telling me, like, when he was a blue belt, he was like, "Yeah, that's my guy."
I know he's amazing, especially what he's done. I think he's a pretty athletic dude, though. He has some like football background, athletic. And so after we did those guys, and then I was that's developed this incredible reputation and relationships throughout the industry. So that's how we ended up chatting again with Keenan and also with JT and also with Clark. We wanted to support those guys again because we wanted to try to be associated and bring attention and help out these top North American competitors, while of course trying to bring up our awareness so people knowing about Five. So with those ones, it was really more of a get to know Five, let people see what's going on, like really establish what we're trying to do with North American competitors, and that's kind of why we made those decisions to do all that. And actually today, amazingly, JT won today. He won the No-Gi Worlds, and then Lovato's whole team killed it. Lovato won at ultra heavyweight, which he just did so he could say that he did that category as well. Like I think he's done 5 or 6 different categories now in the world, and he won today at ultra. And then Popolo won as well at like super heavy, and then Raider won as well today, and Popolo won yesterday. Not Popolo. Dop won yesterday at purple belt. So amazing for all those guys. And so that's really what we were doing there. But going forward, what we're really going to be doing, and our whole focus is trying to make our champions into stars. So like kind of what you're seeing right now with us targeting certain people, a lot of that over the next few years is probably going to be more focused exclusively on our champions and trying to make them more and more well known in the community, doing a lot of media, a lot of work to create higher profiles for those individuals. But in the short term, I think you saw that we just signed Mackenzie. So she's just someone that we're huge fans of, and we love the way she handles herself and her brand, and we wanted to have it associated with us. And she really wants to compete in our events. And we're we're like a few dots on I's and crosses on T's from having the whole Clark thing sewn up for the next year and a half to 2 years. And again, another guy that we just love his brand, who he is, what he represents, and he's a huge supporter of us, believes in what we're trying to do. So he's someone that wanted to try to be associated with us as well. And I think there's probably a couple other people that we'll be talking to that are probably well-known people that we'll get more tightly aligned with. But that's kind of how we've been trying to do our thing, was just basically to try to really promote North American athletes, help out wherever we can, while obviously bringing up and letting people find out what Five's all about.
I think the thing for me that's
so
been...
like just kind of like bringing it back a bit, because you were talking how you did that. Oh,
Go ahead, Rami. There's
Go-
a
go
delay.
ahead,
Go
Adam.
ahead.
okay. So like the thing I was wondering, just going back a little bit, is for your 5 grappling tournament you did in Toronto, where you had those super fights with Liera and Dinas and Beach and all those guys. Can't remember everybody off the top of my head, but I remember one of the biggest things that you guys did, or one of the big changes you guys made, was the whole 2-point rule for standing up on a double guard pull. Is that something you guys are kind of like moving forward with? Is that are you guys trying to change things up to make like going forward? Why did you guys choose to do that? I guess is the best way to word it.
Dan, is it okay if I answer this?
Go ahead, Ricardo. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, one of the things that we're trying to do with Five as well is we're trying to create a better experience, not just for the competitors in mind, but also for the spectators. And we're also trying to bring in outside brands that are not really in the jiu-jitsu industry to come in and take a look at our sport and be involved. And the thing with our sport is it's awesome, it's entertaining, but it can be boring. And the whole thing with the double guard pull, it's kind of become this whole like kind of nuisance. Like there's a lot of intricacies, like with the double guard pull, like you see, like there's a whole kind of like a science behind what these guys are trying to do with the leg drag and placing their legs around the leg and trying to come up on top. But the problem is you have 2 guys that are trying to do that, you end up with a 10-minute, tug of war on the pant match. So if you have people that don't know what's going on in jiu-jitsu, they come and watch that, they're gonna think it's boring. If you have sponsors that come in that want to get into jiu-jitsu, and they see, like you look at the Keenan and Meow match at the Worlds 2000, the open weight, and it was not the open weight, sorry, like the World Pro one when they got DQ'd, like
The double DQ.
yeah, 6 minutes of them tugging on each other's legs, it's boring. So our idea is we wanted to just make subtle changes to add more excitement. So the double guard pull, where it forces the person to come on top to try to pass, was one of those rules. We also have 6-minute rounds for all 6-minute matches, sorry, for all of the adult divisions, and that's the same thing as done as in the Abu Dhabi World Pro as well as Copa Podio. And with 6 minutes, even for black belts, it makes the match more entertaining. And where we got a lot of that, those ideas was, I don't know if you guys are aware, but after the Pan Ams last March, we had a big conference, and what we did was we invited, the who's who of the jiu-jitsu world was at the conference. It was all private, and there was a highlight video of it up. I think it'll be on our new website, and there's the videos available. But basically, we had everyone from Alberto Crane, Guilherme Mendes, Andre Galvão, Shanji Ribeiro, Comprito, like all these guys, Henry Akins, and then we even went to brand owners like the owner of Jiu-Jitsu Pro Gear, the owner of Budo Videos, the owner of Show Your Roll, and different referees. And at that conference, we spoke about just what we're talking now, like how to make the sport more exciting, how to make it better for the athletes. And we took, we had a questionnaire that went out to all the participants. We took all that information, we reviewed it, and we discussed it, and then all that's going to be kind of going into our rules and our ideas and what we go forward with in Five. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we're trying to make the sport look more professional and be something that you compete and you're proud to bring your parents or your girlfriend or your family to come watch. Not just, I mean, not to say anything about any other tournaments, but we really, really want to make it be the best it can, and by making it look as professional as it can, I think we're only doing it justice. So if we can make it more entertaining and make it look more professional, we know we're doing the right thing.
I think I can almost relate to that too, because it's like when I compete now, like I love competing. I think it's fun. I love watching all the tournaments. Like I love watching Worlds and whatnot. I buy the streams, whatever. But the thing is, when I actually compete, I find it funny because people will be like, "Oh, I should come and check out your mat or your tournament," and I'm just like, "No, you don't. You really don't want to come watch." Whereas it would be kind of cool if you can make it a little more friendly for the spectator as well. But what I was also getting at is a lot. I've heard a lot of people talk about this where there's a lot of people like one side of the fence or the other where they say that submission only tournaments are also really exciting. Like what made you guys want to go from just that small simple rule to why not do a submission only tournament? I'm just throwing ideas out, but I'm kind of curious. Like, why did you stick it out with the points thing as opposed to submission only?
He's looking for a job. I'm just throwing ideas out there. You know.
No, well, actually, one of the other things I forgot to say about the points is there's no advantages in the tournaments, by the way.
Oh, that's right.
And that was one of the things that we discussed at the conference, was that people were actually fighting for advantages rather than fighting for winning. Going to submission only, I mean, I think that the submission only thing hasn't been figured out properly yet. I think that the tournaments that do it, they're kind of smaller, and our vision is to have really, really, larger professional tournaments. And to do submission only, I mean, we had the analogy at that conference, like, what if you had two stars and they're just so good and they can't submit each other, and after 20 minutes you're going to DQ both of them? Like, it doesn't really make sense, So there's a couple other reasons, but it's, I don't know. Anything you want to add?
I think I'll give you my opinion on it. We discussed it at length. I mean, it probably took hours of conversation, and I mean, internally and private conversations, we've had countless hours discussing whether to do submission only or point system tournaments. And I think a lot of people talk about submission only tournaments as perhaps being a little intimidating for the average person to go into something knowing that the only way this thing's going to finish is by submission. And for us, we just, and kind of overlooking the whole landscape of it, one of the main things that we wanted to do was we wanted to make a really exciting and fun and great-looking tournament that provided this great platform for people to compete at. And so one of the things that we were recommended highly was not to make radical changes to what people know and what they're used to right now. So that's why we've made the changes that Ricardo's talked about, the primary ones being the 2 points from coming out of double guard pull, the elimination of advantages, because those were things that we got a real consensus on that people believed would help make the tournaments more exciting. And while any of the superstar guys we were talking to all love the idea of matches going to submission finishes, they also recognize that to implement that right now, it's just too radical a thing to do if we're trying to really build the profile of the sport and do it in an exciting way. So we're not. I love the idea of submission only. I love the idea of kind of getting back as much as you can to what are the roots of BJJ. But for us to implement that right now into our business, we just said let's kind of take things step by step and try to figure out what people want and what's exciting and what works. And so there's absolutely, for sure, I think at some point we're going to try doing some stuff with submission-only concepts and maybe a small part of the tournament or open up something for that. But like I said before, we just want to really make it attractive for people to come into and all those things. We'll definitely look at that as we keep growing the business.
What was the general consensus? Because you guys said that you did a survey. Like, what was the consensus on the rule changes that you guys did?
Well, we didn't make the rule changes until after the conference. So I think the survey that we sent out was basically, we kind of went into that with an open mind. And the reason we did that was what I've tried to do, the guy who I really have bounced a lot of these ideas off of is Paul Patterson. He's our partner. He's probably listening right now, so hi, Paul. And he's kind of been our branding guru and expert. He's the guy that makes everything look really cool with what we do, and he's also our big operational guy that's kind of keeps everything in line and in a timely fashion. And Paul really, with our discussions about what we wanted to do, we said let's go into this. Let's recognize that in no way are we experts, and let's try to find experts to give us their opinion on what works and what doesn't work. And then let's try and take a consensus on it, or try business practices to it, which makes sense for us, and we can turn it to a proper business by listening to all these people. So like, I've been to hundreds of gyms. That was a really exciting experience, having all those guys come together. But our questionnaire was like, what do you think of advantages? What do you think of sub-only tournaments? What are your experiences with it as a gym owner? How do you feel about it as a parent or as a coach? How do you feel about it? How do you feel about competing in them yourself? Do you love having third place matches? Do you like having single elimination? Do you like round robin? Do you like double elimination? When do you like to have people competing? What belt level should go first, second, no-gi first, gi first? Like, we hit like every thing we could possibly imagine. And when we sent out those surveys to all the guys, and full credit to all of them, they all took time to complete it and get it back to us. And then so what we did at the conference was we put together a big presentation, and in that we kind of showed them what the results were. And some things had a real consensus towards it. Some were more split, and those ones had a lot of active discussion about it. And even the ones that had a consensus, we really wanted to get, let guys elaborate more on why they wanted to have things a certain way. And so we kind of took all those points together and then really tried to apply what we thought made sense from a practical business standpoint, and that's what we tried to implement as a stage one with the rule set that we have right now.
You guys had mentioned that you were like the tournament in Toronto was kind of a showcase of talent and things like that. Are you guys looking to get into more of like a show sort of situation as opposed to an open tournament with super fights?
No, our business.
Like you guys have the Invitational coming up too, right?
Yeah, that's November 23rd. Our business that we're really trying to build is we're trying to create a great platform for people to come and compete at. Like, we want to have it open tournaments. We want to try to figure out a way that we can create a great platform that, like you talked about before, that you're proud to invite your mom or your parents and your girlfriend or your friends, because you know that if you invite them to come to a 5 tournament, you don't have to explain to people what the score is. You don't have to explain to people, like, who they're watching. Are these guys good? Are these guys bad? You can feel that you're not going to have to feel like, yeah, it's not usually like that, or this isn't really how it is. Like, and I've been to those tournaments, and for me, the whole reason that we're trying to do what we're presenting is we wanted a first-class platform that the competitors can go to, feel like this is incredible. People are really making me feel special. I also feel like I can invite my friends and family because it showcases BJJ and submission grappling in the highest possible way. And then we're willing to do whatever it takes to make that experience better. So if it means that we continue with formats like what you saw here in Toronto, where we bring in superstars to compete against local guys, we love that idea. But if you say, like, are we looking to do pro-style tournaments, it's not what we've set out to do, but if that's what people get excited about and what we think helps to add excitement to the sport and attract new people and new sponsors into the space, then yeah, I guess we're down for doing that too.
I think you've been talking a lot about kind of the production value of the tournaments, and making it a place that you'd want to bring your family, your friends, and things like that to showcase grappling. And that was the one thing that really blew me away about the tournament in Toronto. Unfortunately, I couldn't compete. I had a broken leg at the time, but just from when you walk in, for a tournament, a brand that really nobody had heard of prior to that tournament, you walk in and, the huge posters and just the production value was probably the highest that I've seen, not to talk down about any tournaments in particular, but, this isn't like, you know, just some tournament that happens in a high school gym, and you know, the whole thing just from the sign-in process, you know, the beautiful mats you guys had with your logos on them, like everything was just from a production value perspective really really like perfect. So you know, obviously that's what you guys were going for, but you know, I can certainly attest to that in terms of the production value.
Yeah, we should probably hire Adam, I think, Ricardo.
I think everyone's applying for jobs on this podcast. You know, Rami's giving you pitching. Hey, I'm just pitching this idea out there. Adam's talking.
Yeah, you know, we worked really hard on it. We invested a lot of money to make that happen too. And like I said before, you know, we put a lot of care and attention into that part of it. Like I said before, Paul's the guy that's really focused on that. I've kind of come up with all my dream scenarios, and he's been able to format that into reality. And same with Ricardo. Like, that's kind of been the fun part about it. It's because I've spent a lot of time around different types of live event format. You know, both huge scale, you know, mainstream sports, and also a lot of action sports. And for me, it's just the reason that I wanted to get into this, and that I convinced these guys to come along with it, because I said that this sport is amazing. It's, you know, as an MMA fan, I got 4 little girls. I'm looking to try to find a way to get them exposed to martial arts, because I think it's so important for them. Striking sports, I think, you know, everyone understands the concern that people have with, you know, the headshots that occur with that. Whereas BJJ, for me, is just, it's amazing in that it allows you to train and to compete at such a hard and intense physical level, while, you know, 99.9% of the times you're going to be able just to walk out of there and show up at work on Monday, and, you know, no headaches or anything like that, just feel great about yourself. And for me, that's what I think makes this sport so fantastic. And if you look at it from our business standpoint, for me, it's like we just got to find a way to expose it to more and more people. And if we can do that, and if they see it for the first time, or if they see it in maybe for the 10th time, but they see it in a first-class way, that, you know, we tell every gym owner, and why we ask for support is because if we do this, then it's going to make sure that the students they have keep wanting to train, because they see this, you know, first-class platform where they can showcase their talents. And then we also, you know, want to do it because we know that if you guys or any of our competitors invite their friends or family to come, they're going to see the sport in the first way, and it's going to make them inspired to want to join the local gyms and take up the sport. Because a lot of the misconceptions or the preconceived ideas about what they have, hopefully we can do our part to eliminate some of that and get them in the gyms. So that I think that if we can do that, then we've done a great thing in terms of doing something to give back to the sport.
It's amazing. This is a question for either one of you too. When you first introduced the tournament, did you guys get any maybe like negative feedback? And I say that because truthfully, when I first heard of you guys earlier this year when you did your Toronto show, I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't know if there'd be longevity in your brand. I mean, I was maybe I'm just naturally pessimistic, so I don't know. But
that's true. Actually, Ahmed is naturally pessimistic.
Yeah. You know, so like, you know, did you guys get any negative feedback trying to break into the tournament scene, especially here in Ontario? So for our American listeners, you know, well, we have a lot of tournaments in this area, so I was just wondering if, you know, if you guys got any negative feedback.
Well, the answer is yes.
Okay, all right. And like, how'd you deal with it? Like, you guys obviously have really grown since then, right? So,
I think, you know, where we kind of come from, and is that, and I was doing this last year when we were doing our other events, is we've really, it's a very costly and it's a very time-consuming effort, but we've tried to go and we did that in Ontario. We went to gyms all the way to Montreal. We went to Ottawa, Kingston. We went to Oshawa, Ajax. We went all the way out to Niagara, London, Hamilton. We really tried to go and visit as many gyms as we could and sit down and explain our story so that we could try to alleviate some of those concerns or questions that people might have about what we were trying to do. Nothing really replaces the actual experience of having been to our tournament or seen it or participated in it. And obviously there's certain things that we're always going to be improving upon, or we're going to make some mistakes. But yeah, we had to deal with a lot of that. And Ontario's a very interesting place because there's politics here that don't exist in a lot of other places. But you know, we respect that certain people had certain ideas, and you know, I've listened to so many gym owners talk to me about what they love, what they hate, and I really appreciate the feedback we get from them. Sometimes, in certain cases, obviously, I disagree with it, but yeah, we push through, and it's expensive for us because we need the big numbers to justify all the expenses that we put into putting on a tournament. But you know, it is what it is. I think that hopefully people that came to the tournament had a great time. You know, I think we recognized one mistake that we made that we've corrected immediately, and hopefully we get much bigger numbers and a bigger turnout when we come back next time, because people actually do understand that we're in this for the long haul, and we're really trying to do something special.
Awesome. So maybe in terms of you know, kind of where you're going, you guys want to talk about the California Invitational, and second part to that question, should I wait a little longer for my invitation, or is it in the mailbox right now?
Well, here's my first question. Do you send your application into Ricardo at 5grappling.com?
Well, I didn't. I could send him the video of me going 0-3 at the last grappling tournament, maybe.
Yeah, like Adam, like hashtag invite Adam is trending on Twitter. It's like
an online petition for yourself to get. Yeah. No, I think what we're doing with the California Invitational is we've looked at a lot of different ways to try to go into the California market. We made a lot of friends out there. We've been, I guess, you know, we've been fortunate enough to spend time with some of the biggest and best in the sport, and you know, again, all the credit to Ricardo in terms of a lot of the relationships that he's built up over the years. But just had so many top people, brand owners, top competitors in that market counsel us on what's the best way to try to break into that market. And so for us, the reason we're doing the California Invitational is basically it has two big main things that we're trying to achieve with it. One is, there's a bunch of them, but the two main ones are that we thought by doing the California Invitational and inviting people from all the big gyms in that area to come out and experience on a smaller scale what a 5-event looks like, we could actually eliminate some of the problems that Ahmed was talking about before. Like, what is this thing all about? Is it as good as they say? Does it look as cool as they say? And so that's what we're hoping to achieve with that. So we're just doing that with doing these 8-man divisions, being really selective on who we bring to the event, because we wanted to be able to give that experience to people so that when we come back to do our open tournament there, people know what they're getting into. So we've hopefully eliminated some of that concern. Second thing we wanted to do was we wanted to do something that we thought
Also,
would be... Sorry, go ahead.
No, also, you guys are streaming it live. Sorry, there's a bit of delay, but
Sure.
you guys are planning on streaming the event live, I believe. I was just wondering what actual events or what matches are you guys actually going to be streaming?
Sure. Well, again, so that was part of what we're doing. That's kind of how we're populating the 8-man brackets, and also the 2 kids super fights that we have. We have a boys super fight and a girls super fight. But the other thing we wanted to do was make something that was super cool looking, and something that, again, we thought could push BJJ and submission grappling to a higher level in terms of the whole live experience and the streaming, or hopefully we have plans hopefully to go beyond just the internet streaming. is that, so that's kind of why we said, let's try and get some matches that people really want to see. So that's how come we did the 5-man round robin format, which was really what we were looking at doing originally. And right now we have Keenan, Cornelius in it. We just put Yuri in last week. We got Gary Tonin competing, and we also got Jackson Souza. And we have a 5th person, which we have a lot of people looking for that position, and we've talked to a number of people, and we'll probably announce that like in a week and a half from now. But for us, we wanted to put together that round robin format because we thought that could be something, amazing. Which as a fan, that you get to see some of your favorite competitors or these new superstar black belts who everyone's kind of excited to see how they're going to do this year. And are they going to be able to translate their success at lower belt levels into the black belt level? And Jackson won today again. It's another thing that happened. Jackson won his division at the Nogi Worlds. So and everyone saw what Keenan did at ADCC. So and then everyone saw what Gary did at ADCC. Everyone's seen what Yuri's done in the past. So like for us, it was let's bring together these new hot superstars, showcase them in a way that hopefully brings more attention to them and does something that helps to showcase the 5 platform as well. So all those matches will be on the live stream. So that's 10 matches plus the finals for the top 2 guys. So there'll be like 11 matches with those 5 guys. And then on all of the other 8-man divisions that were put together, and again, all the credit to what the guys have done in terms of presenting what we think is a pretty fantastic format for people to compete on. We've had a lot of attention and a lot of requests to compete from even beyond the California area in the 8-man divisions that we have. And what we're doing there is the finals for all of those 8-man divisions are also going to be on the live stream. So you'll have the 8, hope I get this right. There's 8-man divisions plus the 2 kids super fights. So the 8-man divisions, those finals will be on the live stream. The 2 kids super fights will be on the live stream, and the 5, all of the 5-man Nogi tournament, those will all be in the live stream. So it's about 21 matches that we'll have on it.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, but we're like, as a fan, I'm super excited with what the guys have done. We got some friends helping us with the stream as well. Had a bunch of brands, which we'll shout out to later, that have been awesome in terms of helping us to put together packages for the competitors to hopefully get them excited about what we're bringing to the table. But we're going to be announcing some of the names that we have coming into this thing for the lower belt levels, and even in our 8-man black belt key division. And honestly, there's superstars. There's like all these amazing superstars who we've had a chance to chat with, who believe in what we're trying to do, see that we're making this effort to try and bring more attention to them and to try to bring more attention to the sport. And a lot of these guys have come on board to really try to want to be a part of what we're doing. So we take it pretty serious, and we're killing ourselves to make sure that what we put on November 23rd is absolutely first class, and I feel really confident that people will be impressed when they see it.
Guys, for the 23rd, just since we're on that topic, you guys, you're streaming it, of course. You just finished saying that. Sorry if I missed, because I'm doing other things too, but like I'm not like doing other things, but like I'm doing technical things.
He can't see his hands. He's currently crocheting.
Doing my banking. So, did you mention? And I'm sorry if you mentioned this, but did you mention if it costs money? If it was a pay-per-view, or was it free? Or
It's free.
Yeah, I think that I understand why people have to do a pay-per-view model for what they're doing, because these things are not cheap to do at all. But in our case, it's completely free. I think the only thing we're going to have is a wall, because obviously we want to be able to talk to the people that come and watch the event. So I think we're going to obviously be getting emails, but it's completely free, and it's free. Great. It's free for the viewer. It's not free for us.
Yeah, it's an invitational, so these guys aren't paying a registration to come to the tournament, right?
Right.
I'm sure you'll have spectators and I'm just pitching this idea. Maybe you should charge them $5, and then you probably having some booths or something set up. I guess what I'm trying to ask here is, how are you going to make money off something like that? Like, how do you know?
We don't make money on this one at all. Like we're spending a lot of money to make this one happen. But the reason we're doing it again is because we want to make sure the people know what the heck 5 is. Like your question before was the perfect question for me in terms of justifying why we're doing what we're doing. I want people to be able to see what the heck 5 is, so there's not a mystery as we do our tournament series in 2014. People will have had a chance to see it. They'll get a chance to see what we're all about. I'll get a chance to show to people that I'm trying to get to come on board with us what we're all about and what we're trying to do. So for us, it's just a huge expense, but we think it's just part of what we're investing in the business to try to grow it. And hopefully, if we do what we do well and people like it and respect it, hopefully we can find a way to keep providing it for free. We'll see what happens. But our whole thing is we really want people to understand that going to a 5 event is worth your time and your money, because you're going to get a great experience out of it, and we want this to be a part of what shows that to people. And if people love this and it makes sense for us to keep doing them, we're all about doing whatever it is that makes people excited to do 5 tournaments.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of 5 tournaments, obviously we had the one here in the Toronto region not so long ago. Have you had any other ones since then?
We haven't done other ones under the 5 banner. Like I said, Ricardo's done so many tournaments. I had done with a few members of our group now and some other individuals. I had done those S7 tournaments with very much the same kind of system, but we've been doing all kinds of testing, and we've run so many simulation events and done other things with software and trying all these different things that we think can make the event even better. So to answer your question, no, we were planning to do a bunch more in 2013, but we just thought that focusing on it from a business standpoint just allowed us more time to be able to perfect a lot of things and really focus on what we're trying to do with our 2014 schedule.
So maybe, like, again, just another idea, but like you might have 5 Toronto, 5 Dallas, 5 whatever, like happening almost on a yearly basis. Is that the goal, the future goal, maybe? Or?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Our what we wanted to get it to is for 2014, and we'll just give you a few of the things because we'll be announcing these things during the Invitational. We're planning on doing 11 events next year, so nice. We're doing 1 a month in different cities across the U.S. and also in Toronto, and that's all culminating with you have to finish on the podium at one of our events. So you have to finish top 3 in your category to qualify to go to the North American Championship. And we have 2 locations we're looking at for that, and they're pretty fantastic. So we'll hopefully get that locked down here in the very, very short term, so we can announce that as well. But the whole idea we're trying to do is, I guess if you look at what the IBJJF does, they do tournaments all across the country, and they do an amazing job at them. And then they have their big, huge get-together party, which is the Worlds or the Pan Ams out in California, and everybody comes to that. What we're looking at doing is more of a format like what you would see in amateur wrestling or other amateur sports across North, just having regional tournaments where you have to qualify to be able to go to the national championship. So we really want that to be something that is the super uber cool, amazing experience national championship, but you have to earn your way to get there.
That's nice.
And you have to finish top 3 to be able to go to it. And yeah, that's how we're moving forward with 2014, and then with subsequent years after that, we obviously hope to be able to add more regional qualifiers so that people have more of a chance to go to that party in November.
I really like that idea of earning your spot in the national championships. Like, I know there's been a lot of talk in Canada about like having some sort of national tournament. Like, it's
Yeah.
something that's really lacking. But I think it really adds a lot of prestige when you can earn your spot at those tournaments, and then you really do feel like you're the best.
Yeah, I think I mean, both Ricardo and I live here in Toronto, so I think if we can assist in that in any way with doing something for a Canadian championship, other than just what we're doing here, and obviously we hope to be able to do more 5 tournaments across Canada. There's great promotions out there right now that are doing a lot to put on some great tournaments in different cities across Canada. I think we'll be reaching out to those people to see if we can figure something out that makes sense, where we can try and qualify people to try to be able to get together someplace and make a Canadian champion. And obviously we'd want those people to be at our North American Championship as well. It's important for us that we do something that we really make a presence in Canada, because obviously we're Canadian. We want to see Canada represented properly with what we're trying to do, and we want to see a North American Championship that has people from Canada as well as the U.S. And obviously we'd love to bring in Mexico at some point too.
Awesome. So is there anything else in terms of like the direction that you guys are going that you wanted to talk about?
I don't know. Do you have anything, Ricardo?
No, I think we covered quite a bit. I mean, yeah, I think the important thing is we're doing our tournament series 2014, like once again, getting back to what Dane was saying is not to say anything about any other tournaments, but if you have a discussion about the world championships, it's like you talk to your friend or your neighbor that doesn't know anything about jiu-jitsu, and they ask you like, you're competing at the mundials, the world championships, did you qualify? And you're like, no, I just paid online and I can go in, So, I mean, for us, it's not that we're trying to, compete with that in a sense, but we're trying to make something legitimate for North America. So, to have a real North American championship, there are some tournaments that say North American Championship, but there's no qualification process. So, we're really getting back to even like the people that we've chosen, it all kind of ties in. We're really, really trying to shine the light on the North American athletes and put them on a platform like they've never been before. And I think that was that was one of the biggest things in our vision. And the thing is also like getting back to what you guys were asking about the sponsorships and who we're working with and so forth. A lot of the people that we're working with or sponsor, we're not like it's one thing like to just sponsor somebody and throw money at them and say, hey, wear this. All of these people that are sponsored athletes or whatever you want to call it, they share the same vision. Like they agree with what we're doing. They want to be a part of it. They want to compete in our tournaments, and I think that that's really important to us. We don't want to just have people, just put a logo on somebody and them not even want to represent the brand or the tournament or not want to compete in our tournaments. So, that's really important for us too. So, I mean, some of these guys, you'll be seeing them compete in 5 tournaments in the new year. And for the California show, we got some, like Dan was saying, we're gonna be announcing soon, but we have some really, really, really talented, from blue, purple, brown, black. We got some really talented people that have applied, and we're going to be announcing that too. And it's crazy. We've actually gotten applications from Brazil, from like Germany, from Holland, like all over that want in the Invitational California. So, I'm not trying to tap myself on the back too hard or toot my own horn, but I think we're on the right path for sure.
Yeah, and everyone that wins, of course, in our California Invitational, we're bringing them all back when we have our open tournament there, because we want to make sure they're there to defend their titles. But yeah, I think just like for me, it's obviously we're trying to build a business. Like logically, that's what our goal is. But I mean, if you like Ricardo said, it's hard work, but it's fun. I know we've been able to spend a lot of time with mega personalities within the sport, and they're 99.9% of people that we come in contact with are people you just really enjoy hanging out with. I guess like 2 weeks ago, I spent 4 days with Henzo down in New York discussing a bunch of stuff. And that is a dude that if you ever get a chance to hang out with,
Oh man,
I highly recommend it.
we want him on the podcast, and we've been reaching out to him. He's down for it. He's down for it. It's just his schedule's crazy. So
Yeah.
He's got the craziest schedule. If you, I don't want to brag, but I can definitely help to get him on your show for sure.
Oh, that's awesome.
If you're gonna get him on your show though, you have to have like 3 or 4 hours for the conversation.
I wouldn't mind at all. Just fly him over here so I can train with him. That'd be amazing. Make it happen.
I've been around a lot of successful people and a lot of cool people and famous people, but that guy, his energy is like, it's unbelievable.
Do you follow
It's like
him
you can't believe he can
Do you guys follow
What's
him
that?
on Twitter? He's on Twitter. Like he doesn't sleep. He's
He
on
doesn't
all the
sleep,
time.
and he likes to tweet when he's driving, which is always great. And you're with him at 2 in the morning, and we're driving back to his house, and he's tweeting, and he's driving like 120 miles an hour. I'm like, what are you doing exactly right now? Like, why are you doing this? But no, he's an amazing, amazing person, and you guys got to get him on your show.
He's by far the biggest, like most friendliest guy you've. I mean, me and Dan and I were at a UFC months ago in Jersey, and we met Henzo right after the fights finished. And I think from the time the fights finished to the time we all got to Henzo's car, it was like 2 hours because
He won't say no to anybody who wants to take a picture.
No,
Yeah,
like every
that's
fan, because a lot of celebrity fighters, like fans go up to him and they're like, hey, can I get a picture, champ? And the fighter will do one of these, take a picture, and then walk away. He won't even say anything. But Henzo will like hug the guy and like slap his belly and be like, "Monster, how are you, my friend? Like, is this your girlfriend, man?" Like he sits there and like makes friends with every single person, and he's just.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's
Like,
awesome. Right?
Stop making us jealous.
I know, I really love Henzo. Like I've loved Henzo for a while. Now you made me love him more. I really
He's awesome. He's like, when I stayed at his house for 3 nights, like he's cool. Got a great wife, kids. Like he's definitely he should have a reality show.
Yeah.
He knows. He tells you stories that you're just like, is that real? He a Metallica story he told me, and then he like played a message from James Hetfield, and I started dying laughing. And he's like, man, you can't believe some of the stories are real, but then they are real. He's incredible. So get him on your show. Get him on your show.
No,
for sure.
I'd love to, man. Like I still love that whole thing when he was like almost getting mugged and he was tweeting and punching the guy in the face and tweeting. Yeah, taking pictures of the guy on the floor. Like that's.
Yeah, I've had like a moments where I've seen that side of him, like, and that's kind of. He never asked us if we're going to fight MMA, but I'll answer it anyways. Being around Enzo, and like when you see someone that can be the absolute nicest person in the world, and then you kind of see when he can, if something happens, when he like kind of twitches, and like that's when I was like, yeah, there's certain people that are made to fight MMA and those kind of things, and they're just born fighters, and that's him. Like but you couldn't find a nicer person, but yeah, he has that. You have to have that ability to like switch, and he's got that ability. Like he's not someone you want to cross, that's for sure. And everyone, I mean, it's cool too when you're around everybody. Like when you spend that much time with them, he comes in contact with so many people, and like it's incredible.
No, he's amazing. Like I said, like I've got nothing but good things. Like I said, I'm on Twitter a lot, and he's following me. I'm like, really, dude? Like he'll like retweet things I say, and like he's awesome, man. Like some guy like was disrespecting him, and I'm like, do you know who you're talking to? That's Henzo, man. And then Henzo's like, yeah, man. Like this guy knows what's up. Like it was awesome. I don't know. I have a big crush on Henzo. Like we
were at dinner one night, and some guy was walking past, and we were at this Brazilian restaurant in a patio, and this guy was walking by, and I think he had a jacket, and it had like the lion on the shoulder. It had his crest, and I can't do his voice as well as Ricardo does. Ricardo can do it perfectly, along with many, many other people. in BJJ. But he goes, hey, he goes, get over here. You can't walk past me wearing that crest on your shoulder and not give me a hug. And like he jumps up and gives this guy a hug and meets his girlfriend and like chats with him for like 2-3 minutes. And the guy leaves. And I was like, so is that guy training at your gym? And Henzo was like, no, I never met that motherfucker in my life. Like, the way he acted to it, I just started laughing my head off. And then I think like 5 minutes later, because he's always on his phone, he's like, hey, look, that guy, he tweeted about us. And like, he's like, and the guy made a comment about meeting Henzo and how amazing it was.
Oh, wow. So
but he's like that to everybody. Like, when you walk in his gym, he shakes the hand of every single parking attendant, every door staff, every security guard. Like, he just treats everybody like that.
And the craziest thing about his gym, sorry to cut you off, the craziest thing about his gym is, I mean, it's in Manhattan. I think they have like close to like 900 or 1,000 members.
No, they're 1,200 members.
1,200 members, and you're in front of the building. There's not one sign outside. You have no idea that it's there.
He's about to put one though. I'm gonna have to cut you off. There's a sign about to go.
But for years, there's no sign. It doesn't say, not even a little sticker that says Renzo Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. But he's been able to maintain that membership, that enrollment, like all these years, because he just, you know, he brings the best. He's very humble, and he has an open door policy as well. Like, you know, I remember one of his students telling me, you know, he saw the Mendes brothers and he watched them roll in Abu Dhabi. So he was the one he actually called Kira, and he said, listen, he's like, Kira, for ADCC, you're going to go train with the Mendes brothers to prepare for ADCC and get ready for Mundials as well. So, you know what I mean? Like, he's just, the things he does in this for the sport and for the people in the sport, he kind of crosses so many boundaries and just does so many things, and that's why everyone loves him. That's why he's just held in such high regard. And the thing is, like, you know, the World Jiu-Jitsu Expo is coming up next weekend. Yeah. There's guys like world champions that'll be conducting seminars that are probably not getting paid just because Renzo asked them to do it. So that's just who he is. You know, people love him and they love to work with him and they love to help him out. So he's a great guy.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Well, I don't. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. help us out. Yeah. Totally.
Well, who's going to be there next week at the expo? Which of you guys?
I'll be there.
Rami will be there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll be competing.
We'll introduce you for sure. Are you competing in the tournament?
Yeah. I'll be competing in the tournament there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I'm also pretty excited.
Rami's gonna clean up.
Let's hope so.
But yeah. So anyone else have any final? Like, guys, we've been going. I don't know, probably an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, just over an hour.
I do have one last question, and I'm just kind of curious where the name 5 came from.
5. Well, we wanted something that was easy for people to remember, obviously from a branding standpoint. But we really liked the name 5 because it was an homage to the 5 belts: white, blue, purple, brown, black.
Okay.
We didn't count the red belt, although we use it all the time. Obviously, we use red pretty strongly. But you know, in the future, you'll probably see 5 once we've branded it a little stronger. The V, obviously, for the Roman numeral 5 as well. All that stuff will be like, sometimes it'll be in purple, sometimes it'll be in brown, sometimes it'll be in blue. And we'll be doing that stuff as we go forward. But yeah, I could talk about the business for hours, so I apologize.
No, it's been awesome.
I'm excited about it because we worked hard at it and we really believe in it. Yeah, like, I mean, we could tell Renzo stories forever. We spent a lot of time with Clark, and he's amazing. And I mean, we were with Galvao and spent a bunch of time with him in San Diego last week, and probably going to spend some time with him this week. And that was right before everybody left for ADCC. And you know, all those guys that came to our tournament, they've, like, you know, Shanji's been incredible. He came up here, and you know, I spent time with him. He was even like gracious enough to train me, and you know, like, let me tap him out 100 times different ways so I could try to learn some stuff. It's been amazing. And you know, Marcelo's an amazing guy that we spent time with, and you know, honestly, our prayers are with him because he's having a tough time right now with his twins were born really premature. But he's an amazing person. I don't know, like, we can go on and on. Cyborg. I spent time with him when we were out in California, and he's been a huge, supporter, and it's like watching him compete has been amazing. But most of the stuff I got to attribute to Ricardo. Like these people really love him because he's been this stand-up amazing person for so many years in the sport that like he can call names. If you guys want anyone on your show, I advise you to call Ricardo and see if he can get them for you.
I wanna work for you guys. Never mind. I will quit this podcast.
Ahmed will throw us under the bus so quickly.
How dare you?
No, but you guys have seen it. I mean, you guys just started a show. You obviously, I mean, I'm maybe stretching a bit here, but like, you had to get the one big name guy, which you got with Gianni to come on, and then people like see that you're genuine, that you love what you're doing. You're doing this for the love of the sport to try to help out, and you're getting all these super famous competitors and people to take their time to come on your show. It kind of says a lot about sport and like who the people are in it and what it means to them, and it's a big responsibility. Like like we talk about all the time. If we ask people to come to our tournaments, people are giving up their weekends and a lot of just income they have, or disposable income to come and do it. It's a big responsibility, but people are awesome that do the sport. Like 99.9% are fantastic, and it makes it fun to be a part of.
Absolutely right. Good closing statement.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's been a pretty awesome experience for us. I think we all kind of were shitting ourselves a bit once we finally got Gianni on, and it was like, oh, like this is kind of getting real now, right? But yeah, it's amazing how accessible people are and how willing people are to give their time to just sit down and chat with four idiots from Ontario who just want to talk about jiu-jitsu. So it really is a testament to the great people that are in this sport for sure.
It's cool. It's like I think that's the great thing about our sport is like, in basketball, I don't think you can get Michael Jordan to do a Google Hangout if you or even say, can you teach me, how to, I don't know anything about basketball. How to do a touchdown or no, I'm just joking. How to slam dunk or anything like that. Like you can't. That's the awesome thing about our sport, right? Like our stars, our legends, our main stars are so accessible, whether to train with or to do stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. And I think you got, just like Dan said, I think you guys are doing a great job. I think it's really essential. I think what you guys are doing, and I think it's kind of cool. It's really cool to see that you guys were touching more on the local scene in the beginning, and you're expanding, and going out and getting some of the bigger names out there. But I think it's great. I think it's absolutely necessary, especially locally, to to be able to discuss with. I see you guys had like Alessandro and Zuka and those guys, even some of the instructors that you guys have, and just all that stuff it's really necessary, and you're doing a good job at it, and you're keeping it. And the thing I think you guys are doing a good job is you're keeping it clean and tasteful too. So my hat's off to you.
Okay, I don't know what to say now. Like, do you want a job? Do you want a job with us now?
So we have.
Thank you. No, thank you.
Yeah, we do have a couple kind of housekeeping things to take care of. So I think Rami was going to do the draw for the VHTS hat that we were giving away on the Facebook page.
So we had a little giveaway because last weekend we didn't have a podcast to air because Ahmed went to France or Europe. He kind of traveled around for a bit, living a playboy lifestyle. But
he's been spending.
Yeah, you two aren't the only ones who can do it.
Ahmed has been spending all of our Just the Gi Top money on his business trip to France.
Nice.
Totally, yeah. All that money just.
But so what we decided to do for that. To keep fans engaged and whatnot, is we wanted to give out some stuff. So we have a VHTS hat, so very hard to submit hat. Sounds really weird when you word it like that, but And we had a bunch of people entering into a contest to win it. So there's about 29. Yeah, there's 29 people. So what I was originally going to do was write all these people's names and put them into a hat and draw it. But I thought a cooler way to do it, or I think Adam came up with this idea, was to get either one of you guys. So either you, Ricardo, or you, Dan. It's Dan, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Or I don't want to mess up the pronunciation.
Yeah. Good thing you're asking now, an hour and a half into the podcast. That's perfect.
You want to give away a 5 hat too? Hey, look, why don't we give away one of these?
Why not?
Fine looking.
Why not?
5 hats. I have all this stuff around me right now. I have a belt, but we can't give those away. You guys.
No, are you guys down to give away a 5 hat as well? And we'll draw 2 names.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. That's.
Yeah, we want to give away a hat. We can give away a 5 shirt as well. So let's make 3 winners. So we'll give away this hat. And we have,
Okay.
away a 5.
All right.
Look at that. Look at that.
So I have so what I did with all the people.
I feel like the ShamWow guy.
Awesome. So what I did with all the people who entered was I put a number next to their names. So I was gonna have either one of you guys just choose a number between or from 1 to 29, and I guess now there's 3 prizes to be chosen or to be won. So
Go ahead, Ricardo.
have your pick.
Yeah, Ricardo, give us the first number.
So this will be for
Five.
just before we.
Oh.
All right. Okay. So I'll.
Yeah, good
So I
one,
guess you
Ricardo,
know
good
what?
one.
This one can be for the 5 hat, I guess. That makes
Okay.
sense, right?
Yeah, sure.
So the winner of that is Dallas. As I don't remember her last name or his last name. Dallas Dunson. Dallas, but written as Doomsday.
Doomsday, you have won a hat.
Congrats.
Congrats.
All right.
We'll
Yeah.
contact you.
Next number.
I'll go with 10.
All right, 10. So we'll do this one for the VHTS hat, and the winner of that one is Joel Guevara. So congratulations,
Hey, I know
Joel!
that.
You won a VHTS hat.
He trains at my school.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Well, conflict of interest. You don't win anymore. Throw it
Yeah.
I didn't pick him though.
And the last prize,
I'll pick this. 21.
21. So the winner of that is Josh Sequeira.
Would you pick 21?
21.
Yeah, Josh.
Yeah.
Josh Bodman. Josh
Yeah.
just got his blue belt yesterday, and it was his birthday.
Oh.
And now he's won a sweet prize, so that's
You
pretty
got
cool.
your
Nice.
t-shirt. Nice.
Sounds like the fix was in, to be honest.
Yeah. So just one other thing, and actually funny you should mention Joel Guevara, because Joel is he's Sweet Sweat Canada, and he's given us, for those that are on the video podcast, some cool stuff to give away as well, which we'll be throwing up on the page. So we're not going to give that away today, but I just wanted to show it. So he's given us this cool string bag, and it's Sweet Sweat T-shirt, which I'm currently wearing one. You can win the one that I'm wearing if you want, but we also have one that hasn't been worn.
Adam is sweating in it.
Yeah, this one is imbued with my sweat. Soon to be champion of the 5 Grappling Invitational in California, but and some samples of Sweet Sweat. So we'll be giving that away on the page. Thanks, Joel, for giving us that stuff to give away. I think that's it for contest type stuff.
I have dibs on that shirt you're wearing, though.
Yeah.
Don't even think of giving it away.
That's so weird. Anyways, so I think that's it for kind of contest housekeeping type things. So Dan or Ricardo, do you guys have any kind of closing words? Anything you wanted to say in
Any
closing?
sponsors you'd like to thank, etc. Stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah. I'm just getting texts from all my famous friends right now. Rafael Lovato just texted me, so
Oh, he wants
Excited
on. Is
about
that what you?
yes, he's like, get me on that show.
Take a number, man. Take a number.
No, I just
Did we lose him?
Oh, yeah, he's coming back in here.
Dan,
We
you
lost
there?
him. He's back. You're just muted there, Dan. You just have to.
is it better now? Am I back?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. No, I was just saying, it's like it blows my mind that he does what he has been able to do in Oklahoma. It's like, I mean, he's close to Dallas, but like it's just incredible that he had all those people go to ADC, and today all four of his. I think he even had more guys in the lower belt levels who were trained under him that won their divisions and everything else. So it's pretty incredible what he's done with the Ribeiro brothers. It's wow. So anyways, congratulations to Team Lovato, to JT Torres. Clark unfortunately didn't get as far as he wanted, but he had a great submission there with Majid. And
Got his revenge.
who else is there?
Yeah.
Jackson won. So like all these guys that are getting that we've been around, and I don't know. I'm not saying you have to wear a 5 logo, but once you do, it seems like good things happen to you. So we want to say a shout out to those guys, and obviously to Show Your Roll Storm. We got Bad Boy, our friends at MMA Heat, who are being big supporters and helping us out a ton. Dalamar, who've really been a big supporter and believed in what we're trying to do as well. Adidas, who are going to be doing some pretty amazing things in 2014. So watch out for what they're doing, because it's going to be pretty awesome. Those are the main sponsors that have been a big help to us. And yeah, to all the people that have the athletes that came and did our conference or have spent time chatting with us, you know, giving us some real guidance, because just out of love for believing that we're trying to do something to improve the sport. I think we want to say thank you to them, and anybody who's ever come to our tournaments or given us a shot that way. We really want to say thank you to those people, and yeah, and people like yourself doing all this stuff to kind of build the sport through media and doing these podcasts or TV shows, and we're going to do everything we can to try to help the sport out and grow it in 2014 and beyond. So yeah, thank you to you guys.
Awesome. And thanks to you guys for coming on. I think that it was really informative. There's a lot of stuff, you know, I thought I was pretty informed, but a lot of stuff that even I didn't know. So thank you both so much for coming on. We've really appreciated it. And I think that's a wrap, unless anybody has anything else for episode 18.
We have the longest closeouts ever.
I know.
Like, thank you.
It's like the handshake where you don't know when to stop.
It's like the white guy handshake. Like, oh yeah. It's like we don't.
No, you hang up. No, you hang up.
Yeah, we're totally that.
All right, episode 18 is over. The end.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right, thanks, guys.
Bye.